Well, welcome to week number 9 of the Borderland Blitz, sponsored by Southwest University. I'm Adrian Ochoa. She's Rachel Phillips, and Harold Simowitz missing in action. MIA.
He deserted us to go watch rugby of all things. Who even likes rugby? It's all about football here. Come on.
You like rugby, though.
I was being sarcastic.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
Everyone loves rugby.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineup here. Our game of the week is a District 1-5A Division 2 showdown between the Canoteo Eagles and the Chapin Huskies.
We'll then turn to District 1-6A. Two teams in need of another win in district play. The Franklin Cougars hosting the Pebble Hill Spartans.
And then over in East El Paso, it was the America's Trailblazers taking on the Coronado Thunderbirds. This one was a very good game. But we're going to start with our game of the week. We begin in District 1-5A Division 2 for, again, our game of the week. In terms of records, Canoteo, Chapin, identical.
It's so good. Such a good matchup.
Both coming into the game 5-2 on the season, 2-0 in district play. The winner of this game basically puts them in the driver's seat to bring home that district title. Let's show you how it all played out. Tonight, it was Eagles versus Huskies at Irvin High in the first quarter here. Canoteo up 7-0, but here come the Huskies. The handoff to Tavian Russell down the sideline. Check this out right here. Shakes off the defender. Will make it. Will he make it?
His own teammate nearly gets in his way.
Will he make it all the way?
Ooh,
not quite.
Massive tackle.
An impressive, though, 95-yard run. The Husky mascot, he's loving it.
Yeah, fist bumps all round.
That sets up Chapin's Davion Singleton with the quarterback keeper, ties up the game at 7. Then in the second quarter, Singleton again with another quarterback keeper. He's going to get the house call to make it 14-7.
There's
Chapin.
a reason he has Division I offers, folks. It's because he's that good.
And here, Canoteo, though, on the comeback. Jeremiah Knox says, hey, you know, I can keep it myself, too, and take it to the house. That ties up the game at 14, and that score would hold until the fourth quarter. It's Knox again, calling his own number. Run, Jeremiah, run. He breaks the deadlock. They gives Canoteo the 21-14 lead. Time running out for the Huskies. They're going to take a shot at the end zone right here. But it's Canoteo's Eduardo Carrillo with the INT. That's why they practice the tip drills there as he makes the interception, and that would be the dagger. Fly, Eagles, fly.
The Eagles so excited his head nearly popped off.
That made it. They're going to improve to 3-0 in district play. Canoteo wins it 21-14. Again, the win puts them in a good spot to bring home that district title. But for now, let's go ahead and hear from those victorious Eagles.
I mean, elated. I thought, the game went like we wanted it to as far as, low scoring. We didn't want Chapin to, they got their 2 big plays, and he almost got one there at the end. Both defenses played hard. Both teams played hard. I mean, it's just one of those, it was worthy of a district championship, I think. I mean, both teams just got after it.
I'm feeling great, man. All glory to God. He lets me play like this, and I'm feeling excited, man, to be back. I feel like our defense came out here and stepped it up. They have a good quarterback, Davion Singleton. We just came and shut him down.
That was Carrillo who made that game-winning interception to seal the deal for Canoteo.
Just massive, massive win from Canoteo. They say defense wins titles, and that right there shows you exactly why. We'll next go to Andrews High School. The Eagles, 2-5, 1-1, hosting the winless Jefferson Silver Foxes. Jefferson throws a bomb, but watch it, intercepted by a Golden Eagle, Donovan Melendez, who just shakes off a couple, runs to the other side. Can't even get touched there, but eventually taken to ground. I guess you can say it's a slam dunk for the defense.
Not quite there, he missed it.
Yeah, check this out though. Eric Bleacher over 2 Silver Fox defenders, breaks the tackle and dives in for the Andrews touchdown. Eagles got 14-0, and they win this one in a shutout, 29-0.
We're going to bring a blast from the past here. You made your debut last week, but you're no stranger to the Borderland Blitz, Mr. Sigala.
Certainly so great to be here, and can you believe it, my friend? This is a moment, of course, 10 years in the making. The last time I was on the Borderland Blitz, you were our 10 p.m. producer, and I was standing in your very spot. And Rachel probably was even here in El Paso.
Rachel was like,
exactly.
maybe
Were you even in the U.S. at that time?
No.
Back in Australia.
Years old, in high school in Australia. Long time. What can happen in 10 years?
I'm glad to be here with both of you 10 years later, and whatever the case, it is great to be back in the 915 and checking out some Texas football. Speaking of, let's head out to one of the most picturesque stadiums in all of Texas. El Paso High School hosting Burgess High, and the Tiger cheerleaders are having fun as the entire El Paso High student council staff dressed up early for Halloween as the Despicables. Gotta love the spirit, and gotta love El Paso's Martin Gonzalez finding wide open Amir Mata. And just like that, the Tigers lead 6-0 after missing the extra point. But back comes Burgess. Check out Caleb Hanna. Making it happen, Captain.
I missed that.
Oh, yeah. He'll break off a big run, son, as the Mustangs. They go into a scoring range at that point, and that'll help set up a Burgess touchdown. All eyes were on the quarterback, but there was a direct snap to Devin Mata, and Burgess takes a 7-6 lead after nailing their extra point. In the end, Burgess beats El Paso with a final score of 61-42. And call your friends on the phone. The game between Franklin and Pebble Hills was postponed a half an hour. Apparently, Pebble Hills showed up a little bit late, but hey, it's pretty far out there, far east. And the boys from the east side, they scored early and often and led 7-zip. Then Franklin quarterback Shea Smith will break off a nice run. First down Franklin, but later Shea Smith is under pressure, and the ball goes right into the hands of Jose Olazaba, and then right through his hands. Come on! Oh, so close with an interception. Pebble Hills will push the ball back up the field, and coming up, Gael Ochoa will throw it up to Marcus Torres with the extension in slow mo. He's gone. Adios, amigos. Sayonara. Bye for now. Ciao for now, as I should say. Pebble Hills bust out with a 14-0 lead. The route is on, and Pebble Hills ends up winning big, 56-14. And despite being blown out, props to Franklin High School, of course, all the spirit, all the fans, the student body, they showed up to the game. It was definitely an electric atmosphere out there. And hey, it was my first time covering a game at Franklin High School.
They didn't have a stadium when you were here.
Yeah, remember back in the day, 10 years ago.
Just showing your age.
No, we are. But hey, I'm just reminiscing right now because we used to have to go to the Coronado games.
They played at Coronado
High School to watch the Franklin games as well. So good stuff, good times, and great people just like Adrian and Rachel.
Appreciate you, Paul. But it felt good being back out there, right?
It did. It felt really good. And like I said, I love the energy, and it's always fun to go to the most historic, one of the most historic fields in all of Texas at El Paso High School, and one of the newer ones now, Franklin High School.
Well, appreciate you, Paul. We'll hopefully see you the rest of some seasons.
You got it. Anytime you need me, I'm here for you.
Appreciate you, Paul. Well, let's go ahead and keep it in District 1-6A. The America's Trailblazers into tonight 4-2 in district play in a three-way tie for second place in the district standings. Tonight they took on a Coronado team that only had one win in district play. They were looking for win number 2 in district. And here we go, quarterback Mark Moore for Americas with a long pass to Abdiel Rincon for the touchdown. He's off to the races there.
And you got to celebrate that one. Watch the cheerleaders go. Yep, that deserves it.
They loving that play. Then quarterback right here, Carson Golding for Coronado, first down there.
I know one man who might be very happy about that.
That is the son.
UTEP men's basketball coach.
That is his son, Joe Golding. There, T-Birds. Then it's Ben Wilson, the complete pass to Zion Orona for Coronado touchdown. Coronado though, with an upset in this one, 28-24. The final. Coronado picks up their second win in district play. They're right in the mix of things now.
Yeah, and awesome to see Mike Fry get a dub. They've had so many close games. Good to see them get one there. Well, also at the SAC, it was El Dorado taking on Socorro. Someone was going to get their first win of the season. I think both teams wanted it. Ryan Estrada gets the ball tossed and carries to the end zone for a 15-yard touchdown. Socorro quarterback, though, Antonio Montes, got some answers, throws a pass to Diego Aguaya, but gets stopped here by the Aztecs. Oh, so close. 25 yards he goes. Handoff again to Aguaya for a touchdown. He goes, yeah, you can only keep me out so long. In he goes this time. El Dorado, what are they going to do, Adrian? Everyone wants the win here. Well, they're going to have to respond. And who else but Ryan Estrada, one of the best sophomores in the entire Borderland. He goes into the end zone. Final score in this one, El Dorado, in a close one, get a 35-28 win to pick up their first win of the season.
El Dorado and Socorro putting on a show at the SAC, even though both were winless coming into this game. Definitely a good game out at the SAC for the fans out there. Well, after the break, we're going to turn our attention to District 1-5A Division 1, some big-time matchups. We'll start in Del Valle, where they played host to the Hanks Knights. Also, Bel Air took on the Parkland Matadors, and then we'll turn our attention to District 1-4A, where the Riverside Rangers played host to the Panthers from Austin. That's coming up.
Why are you using that loser mower?
I don't know.
That mower's too flabby. You need to go to Real Seco Wagon Supply and let them pump you up.
We carry the nation's most trusted names in heavy-duty tools. Get a free chainsaw kit with the purchase of select saws from Stihl.
Hear me now, think about it later. If you want maximum pumpitude, go to Real Seco Wagon Supply and let them pump you up.
Need a better way to stay cool? Well, thanks to Garden Center Las Cruces, a cooling and beautiful fiberglass pool is readily available for some family fun time. Fiberglass pools are both easily heated and cooled for a comfortable dip no matter the weather, not to mention quick installation and easy maintenance. Financing is available, starting at $400 a month for those who qualify. We service Alamogordo, Deming, and Silver City as well. So what are you waiting for? Call Garden Center Las Cruces at 575-305-7740 for a consultation.
2 migrants shot in the desert outside of Sierra Blanca. Only one survived. Twin brothers Michael and Mark Shepard were arrested and charged for the shooting.
They had no idea that there were human beings out there in the desert.
ABC 7's Gabby Hernandez investigates why a year later the brothers have yet to be indicted.
There could be a million reasons why it's taking a delayed amount of time.
After Monday Night Football, watch her special report, A Long Road to Justice. Monday at 10, only on ABC 7.
Oh, go Troop there. Well, fresh off of a bye week, every team from District 1-5A Division 1 was back in action tonight.
Yeah, the Valle Conquistadores are currently in the driver's seat, all alone in first place with a 2-0 district record. They were taking on a much improved Hanks Knights team. Let's take you out to Conquest Stadium where the sun was setting. Blitzy was doing the opposite of blitzing. The Conquistadores had that dog in them. The Hanks Knights looking to hand Del Valle their first loss of the season, and they were off to a flying start. Sophomore quarterback Jake Fetty looking for something, throws it up, but picked off by Christian Rodriguez. He's trying to take it back all the way. Jake Fetty comes across with the tackle. Massive play from the Knights. It'll be Fetty there to make the tackle, but the Knights handing the ball and more back to the Conquistadores. The pigskin tipped straight into the hands of Nunez at the 40 and check it. He is off for the touchdown. Anyone need a score check? Yeah, watch this. 7-0 Del Valle. Hanks needing to make something happen. They go for it on 4th and 1, and Michael Oliver able to pick up enough yards there to get a new set of downs, but they'd have to settle for a field goal at the end of it. Del Valle in this one going on to win 49-16 to remain perfect in district play.
We'll next head to the northeast side of town. The Parkland Matadors hosting the Bel Air Highlanders. A fumble we're going to be recovered right here by Parkland's Jonah Vanley right there. The Highlander coughs it up. There you see Vanley falls on top of it. 24-14 Matadors at this point right here, and the mascot very happy with that recovery. But Bel Air mounting a comeback. Noah Moreno with the pass to Oscar Martinez. Good luck catching him. He is off to the races there. It was 24-21 Matadors at this point, but it's the Highlanders that are coming away with the dub in this one. 48-42 the final as Bel Air gets their second win in district play.
Next stop, Horizon. The Scorpions hosting the Isleta Indians. That is a lot of flashing lights right there. Turn on the lights. Early in the game, Scorpions number Julio Jimenez with a carry, but gets stopped by the Indians and actually fumbles the ball. Isleta gets it back, and quarterback Evan Martinez with a keeper for the first touchdown of the night just cruises into the end zone. That puts 7 points on the board, and yeah, jump high, son. That was a great one right there. Horizon's quarterback number 2, Robert Rodriguez, with a pass to number 5, Ezekiel Bonilla, for a touchdown. That would be their only one of the night. Though Isleta, big time, 41-7 win. They now improve to 2-1 in district.
Impressive showing for Isleta tonight. We're going to go ahead and turn our attention to the cheerleaders now with our War of the Week, and felt we do the rivalry again, and Montwood, they're no strangers to the War of the Week. They've done it twice already. Could they looking for a three-peat? They won both of them. Here's Iris Garcia Baron with the War of the Week in the Battle of the Woods edition.
Welcome to another War of the Week. We're at the SAC Stadium, and it's an interesting one today. It's the Battle of the Woods. We have two Eastside high schools who are about to battle on the tug-of-war challenge, and the winner's going to get a $50 gift card thanks to Southwest University. But before we get started, let's start with the undefeated 2-0 champs over here. Do you have any last words?
All I got to say is we about to bring that wood!
We heard Montwood loud and clear. What about Eastwood? Eastwood, do you have any last words?
Shine on forever.
All right, there we go. All right, take your marks. Here we go. All right, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Getting close. Getting close. Getting close.
A three-peat for the Montwood Rams. Perfect 3-0 in the War of the Week.
They had strategies, they talked about it, they went in there and got the dub. That is an impressive win, and they were very happy about that. They were telling me, I asked them what they spent the other vouchers on. Pizza parties, which, good use. I love that. We love to hear that.
$150. Can't beat that.
No, I'm glad. Good on them for that. Well, let's turn our attention to District 1 4A Division 1. A battle between the Riverside Rangers and the Austin Panthers. Both teams looking to remain perfect in district play over at Tom Work Riverfront Stadium. Panthers down 26-20 to start the third quarter, but they're knocking on the door, and Riverside say, not on our turf. A massive fourth down stop from the Rangers, but Austin, well, check this. They return serve, nearly grab a safety right here on Derek Vasquez. The Riverside hand the ball back on a short field, and Panthers looking for the game-tying or winning TD, but the Ranger defense, the definition of clutch. The quarterback sack right there on third down, and they are happy about it. That one right there has got the Panther taking a lap to calm down. His shirt a little tight. Look at that.
Yeah, it doesn't fit.
Maybe he had one too many meals over at the beautiful Golden Arches. Riverside grab a field goal to secure a 29-20 win and stay undefeated in district play.
Meantime, the Bowie Bears were looking to continue their winning ways, hosting the San Rosario Eagles. Bowie riding a 6-game win streak entering the game. In the first quarter here, Bowie up 7-0, looking for some more points. Quarterback Abraham Carrasco puts it right in the breadbasket for Antonio Antevero. The Bears are in business later. They're at the one. The give to Joe Rodriguez. Punch it, count it. Bowie up 14-0. Then in the second quarter, Bowie once again on the attack. The handoff to Alan Mota. And Alan Mota, welcome to End Zone City. Bears go up 21-0. Then later in the second, Bowie going back to the air attack right here. Carrasco rolls to his right, and he'll find Kevin Hernandez. Sneaks it right behind the pylon, waiting for the signal, and there it is. Good. That made it 28-0. Bowie, all Bears in this one as they make it 7 wins in a row to improve to 2-0 in district play. Final score, you see it there, 49-0. And this was pretty cool right here. You see the Bowie band wearing those baseball uniforms. Notice it has 75 on the jersey. That's because next year will mark the 75th anniversary of the Bowie Bears winning a state title in baseball. They were the first El Paso team to do it back in 1949. Socorro, of course, would follow many years later in 2009. But those are some cool uniforms right there by the Bowie band. That was awesome.
And they are rocking them too.
Yeah.
And you know who else just rocks things? The Borderland Blitz in particular. Well, it's our guy, Zach. Take you right out to Zach's Dance Blitz.
Welcome to Zach's Dance Blitz, sponsored by Charles Clark Nissan and Charles Clark Infinity.
Hey, Zach, do you know the way down to Funky Town?
Yes, I do. Let's go!
Get excited, come on. Yeah!
Man, Bobby, that was some funky dancing.
That is awesome!
Back to you.
funky dancing, the definition of it right there.
He just improves every week. Like, Zach is the man.
There were some new skills that I haven't seen. It was pretty cool.
Well, coming up after the break, we're going to check in. We have some more games to get to. We'll focus on District 1 4A Division 2, check in with Clint as they played host to Pecos. Then we'll turn to 2A where the Anthony Wildcats hosted the Sonora Broncos. And then we'll have the winner of this week's Blitz picks coming up right after the break.
These are some pieces of Borderland Blitz.
Did you know Western Tech offers programs in the business field? That's right. Learn those business fundamentals from a college who's been around for over 50 years. Now's your time. Start or complete your bachelor's degree, or take your game to the next level with an MBA. We're just not any technical school. We're Western Tech, and we mean business. Visit westerntech.edu and get started on your future today. Don't give up. Rise up at Western Tech. College for the real world.
Zach's Dance Blitz, a high school mascot dance-off every Friday night during the Borderland Blitz at 10:35 p.m. Sponsored by Charlie Clark Nissan Infinity.
Table tennis, you have to outthink your opponent. Knowing your opponent's weaknesses and strengths is key, just like in law is the key to victory. Come to the law office of Michael Gopin and you will be taken care of, and we will strive to do the best we possibly can for your case and for your family. Trust in us and we will trust in you.
Can't get to a TV? Stay up to date and watch every ABC7 newscast wherever you are. Complete coverage of breaking news and accurate, reliable storm track weather streaming live on KVIA.com and the free KVIA News app.
Paso school today.
Hi, we're the Anthony cheerleaders and we are the Borderland Blitz.
Love the way they make the pop print with the pom-poms there. That's what it was. That's what it was.
I want to watch
it
it
was
back.
a pop.
Wow,
it's a
that's
pop
cool.
print. Yeah. Well, District 1 4A Division 2. The Clint Lions played host to the Pecos Eagles. Both teams entered the game 1-1 in district play. It was a peek out night for the Clint Lions. And after a fumble by the Lions here, Eagles' Johnny Morales scampers in for the Pecos touchdown. That made it 10-0 Pecos. It was a low-scoring game early on. In the end, it's the Eagles getting the win by a final of 27-21.
Meanwhile, in Fabens, the Wildcats took on Lobos from Monaghan's. The Lobos 3-0 were looking to remain perfect on their season. 7-0 entering the game. They'll make it 8-0 with a massive 72-7 win over the Fabens Wildcats.
And yes, Lobos is spelled with an E. That is not a misspelling there. They spell it with an E. We don't get those emails. Well, the other Lobos, this one you see it's spelled right. The other Lobos from Mountain View were on the road tonight. They were in Fort Stockton taking on Panthers. You see, unfortunately, Mountain View coming back on the losing end of things as Fort Stockton wins it 38-21.
Then meanwhile, turning to District 3, 2A Division 1, Anthony hosting one of the best teams in Class 2A, the Sonora Broncos. First drive of the game.
Yeah, we'll start right here with the handoff to Marcos Antonio Gutierrez, and he's going to show off the speed right here. A nice pickup for the Wildcats. Unfortunately, the drive would stall. And then Sonora on their first drive of the game. Check out Gutierrez. He plays well on offense and also on defense right here. Coming right at you as Gutierrez gets the sack. He would get hurt on the play right here, but he would be okay. Then later in the drive for Sonora, handoff to Edgar De Luna. Gonna shake off the defender. Gonna stretch over the goal line right there as Sonora goes up 7-0. Then on their next drive, the short pass to Juan Castillo. And Juan Castillo is just gonna take care of the rest.
Speed to burn, just cruising down the sideline he goes.
That made it 13-0 Broncos. The extra point was no good. Sonora wins it 60-26. And a real quick shout out, if you don't mind, my wife was out at Anthony. She works for the Anthony School District. There she is, my wife Adriana. Helping me out when I was out there at Anthony today for today's game.
We love that. Well, turning to Tornillo and Crane. This is not a scoreboard you want to see if you're a Tornillo fan. 73-0, they fall.
Meantime, over at the Field of Dreams in Las Cruces, unfortunately, Oregon Mountain still in search of their first win of the season, and Hobbs takes them down tonight by a final of 58-10.
And Centennial 6-2 on the season, 4-0 in district. They make it 5-0 in district, a 42-21 win over the Alamogordo Tigers. Well, the Mayfield Trojans looking to play spoiler in Roswell. Mayfield starts with the ball, and from inside the 40, watch this, they fumble the handoff. Coyotes are all over it. You can't give a team like that easy ball. Recovered by Eli Lynn, and Roswell takes over near midfield. They drive down to the 3 and hand off to Abai Toscano, who runs untouched up the middle. Let the confetti fly, folks. Coyotes lead 7-0. Then on the first play of the second quarter, the Coyotes defense sharpens its teeth. Zai Carrasco jumps the route and takes it in for a pick 6. It's a 24-yard return. Roswell 14-0. And look, they go on to win this one 48-15 over the Trojans.
Meanwhile, over at Santa Teresa, the Desert Warriors played host to the Gadsden Panthers, and you see right there Gadsden coming away with the win 28-7, as Gadsden is now 2-0 in district play. They're going to face Deming next week, and that will be for the district title in that one, as both teams are 2-0 in district, Deming and Gadsden. Then you see right here Cathedral hosted St. Michael's. That is a school from New Mexico. You see St. Michael's took care of Cathedral by a final score of 34-18. Well, it's time now for our Blitz picks. Of course, Sam usually handles this, but Rachel, you had the honors to find out who won the Blitz picks for today.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm no Sam, but let's see how we go here. We had a few entries in round 9. Let's show you a couple. This one in from Monica Franco. It's her godson Adam with the bull from Parkland. You love to see that. Meanwhile, if we can, how do we do this? Here we go.
Dang.
We're going for it. Another beautiful sunset pick out at Canutillo. And look, it was a sunset pick that won, but it wasn't that one. It was this one right here. Check it in all its glory. Dean Soto, senior night for Riverside. That is just an epic sunset right there. You are our winner of the $50 gift card from Southwest University of Blitz Picks. So many entries. We love them every week. Please keep sending them in. And I love just seeing sunsets. So thank you for sending this one in particular.
And of course, the algorithm for those Blitz picks loves the sunsets too, because it seems to be the constant picture that wins. Rachel, just real quick here. You know, I was out at Bowie today for the Bowie game. One thing I did not show in my highlights was, of course, the bear. There was some drama going out at Bowie tonight. Take a look. And I think it started right here. The boy bear was hanging out, you know, by himself, and I think the girl bear got a little jealous, and this is what happened there.
Oh.
Making out, and right in front of him.
Did we just catch a romance brewing, or maybe a cheating scam?
It's a cheating scam. He's right in front of him.
Wow.
And you know, he was very hurt by that. And there you see, she's.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He must have done something pretty bad to have earned that.
And he's still looking. You know, he went to go talk with his friend right there. Is it like, are you seeing what I'm seeing here?
The head movement. What's happening,
yeah, you
guys?
see why
He's meant to be my person.
And there you go. They're trying to sort things. They're trying to work things out as you do in relationships. And there you go. At the end, a happy ending. They were taking photos with the fans at the game. But yeah, some bear drama at Le Bowie today.
Thank gosh they worked it out. Otherwise, I was going to have to take Blitzy over there, get the bears together, have a bear talk out. But thankfully, they worked it out themselves, and everything's all cool.
Blitzy will be happy to know all is well at Bowie. Well, we got plenty more to come after the break. We're going to go ahead and recap the scores for you in case you missed it, and also take a look at last night's big game, the Battle of the Woods between Eastwood and Monmouth.
I'm a 25-year truck driver. I've been driving for Rivas Enterprises for 6. I have 1 million miles. I'm home every weekend. The benefits and the respect that you get in this company is outstanding. If you're looking for a place to call home, call Rivas Enterprises.
Don't wait until 2024 and enroll now at Southwest University. Enroll by November 3rd to start your new career in the medical field today. Serve your community and enroll in nursing, sonography, or dental programs. We offer flexible schedules and short terms so you can finish faster. Develop your future and acquire the skills to succeed in the nursing, sonography, or dental fields. For more information, visit us at southwestuniversity.edu. Last day to enroll is November 3rd. Southwest University. Start today.
Know someone with diabetes or recently diagnosed? You might have questions like, now what do I eat? Now what about my physical activity? Now, what about my blood sugar? The new Diabetes Now What site helps you find the tools you need to manage your diabetes. We've got helpful videos, downloadable guides and recipes, links to local diabetes education classes, and more, all at your fingertips. You're not alone. Visit us today, an initiative of the Paso del Norte Health Foundation.
I'm a 25-year truck driver. I've been driving for Rivas Enterprises for 6. I have 1 million miles. I'm home every weekend. The benefits and the respect that you get in this company is outstanding. If you're looking for a place to call home, call Rivas Enterprises.
Let's recap last night's game, the Battle of the Woods between Eastwood and Montwood. Eastwood looking to stay undefeated in district play. They were sitting all alone in first place, and you see it right here. Evan Mijades with the 49-yard bomb to Rudy Garcia, and just like that, Troopers are on the board 7-0. Then later in the first, Eastwood up 13-0. The Rams finally get something going. Michael Southern rolls to his right before finding Caleb Alvarez all alone in the end zone, cuts into Eastwood's lead 13-7. Rams going to get another touchdown right here to go up by 1. That made it 14-13. Fast forward to the fourth quarter. Eastwood up 41-34, but the Rams knocking on the door. The handoff to Diego Oaxaca, and he'll get the house call. Game tied at 41, but the Troopers were quick to respond on their end. Minjades with the keeper, and run, Evan, run. He's going to take it to the house to break the deadlock. Eastwood back on top, 48-41. Rams got a chance to even things out right here, but then it was Eastwood's defense coming up big. Jaden James with the pick.
Only a guy with that kind of name can pull off that kind of a play.
Awesome name right there, Jaden James. Eastwood was able to run out the clock from there. They get the win 48-41. They are now 6-0 in district play, and they are now guaranteed at least a share of the district title.
Well, now let's take you to our sweet play of the week from this past week. Canutillo getting the dub, and you got to do the honors.
I did. Let's go ahead and take you to that. This was the winning play for Canutillo. It was Dante Aguilar. His face mask was grabbed. He even had time to adjust it, as you'll see him right here. Yeah, it's like fixes it in the middle of his run. And yeah, we got to meet up with Canutillo. I got to meet with Dante to deliver the goods, which of course are the cupcakes, courtesy of Albertsons, and you see it right there. They were cheering Dante on as he got to take the first bite, got the first dibs, and a lot of fun. And Canutillo feeling extra special tonight after that win against Chapin, no doubt.
Yes, for sure. Well, let's finally tonight recap your scores from all of week 9. How on earth are we at week 9? I don't know, but here we are.
Gone by fast. Here you see Canutillo getting the win over Chapin, 21-14. Burgess coming away winners against El Paso, 61-14. Andrus all over Jefferson in a shutout, 29-0. Coronado upsets Americas tonight by 4, 28-24. El Dorado over Socorro, 35-28, and Pebble Hills over Franklin, 56-14.
Then some other scores for you. Del Valle getting a win over Hanks, 49-16. Isleta over Horizon. Bel Air over Parkland. Bowie shutting out San Eli, 49-0. Riverside in a close one with Austin, 29-20. And Pecos over Clint, 27-21.
Couple more scores to get to here. Monaghan's over Fabian, 72-7. Fort Stockton gets the win over Mountain View. Crane over Tornillo. Sonora all over Anthony. St. Michael's gets the win over Cathedral, and Hobbs also over Oregon Mountain tonight, 58-10.
And then finally, Centennial over Alamogordo, 42-21. Roswell getting a dub. Gadsden getting a dub. Eastwood from last night getting a win. Las Cruces over Carlsbad. And Deming shutting out Chaparral.
So Las Cruces and Centennial, that's going to set up the matchup for the district title right there, as they're both 2-0 in district play. And that's going to do it for us. We're moving on now to double digits of our season, if you can believe it. Week number 10. We got some interesting matchups, no doubt, coming up. And for now, we'll see you next week for week 10 of the Borderland Blitz. Have a great night.